I just hit 11,000 miles on my 2020 Corvette. In today's video, I'm going to give you a non-biased opinion if this car lives up to all the hype. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the vlog and welcome to a beautiful day here in Louisville, Kentucky. Behind me, my personal 2020 C8 Corvette. I just hit 11,000 miles on it, and this is a video that has been planned from day one. This is a video that I had planned before I even had the official build of this car. Yes, we're gonna give you all the ins and outs of driving this car for 11,000 miles. Yes, I'm a Chevy salesman. Yes, I'm one of the top Corvette salesmen in the country. And yes, I work for a dealership in Louisville, Kentucky. But this video is gonna be a true non-biased opinion on this car. Now, in the 11,000 miles I have on this car, I have an additional about 500 to 1,000 on other cars. I have straight line tracked this car. I have autocrossed this car. I have circuit tracked this car. I have done nearly 200 miles an hour in this car. I have done everything in this car that one could imagine, and I'm excited to bring you this video. And since I'm one of the only few people in the country that own a C8 and a C7, I think it's going to be a really good video to compare against the C7 and the C8. I got about 25,000 miles on my C7. Again, 11,000 miles on this. So we're going to talk about the comparisons of the C7 and the C8. We're going to talk about the negatives on the C8. We're going to talk about the positives on the C8. We're going to talk about absolute must-have options you absolutely need to get on every car that you build or the car that you're going to build for yourself. And then also some options that are kind of on the fence. Those two topics there, must-haves and on the fence topics, this is the type of discussion that I have with every single one of my customers. So it comes with a lot of knowledge of talking to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. Monday this week that I was shooting this video, I talked to 163 Corvette owners or prospect Corvette owners and helped them a lot on what they need to do, timing, all that good stuff. So let's get on with the vlog. And to be fully transparent, the exact mileage on my car is 10,685 miles. By the time this video gets uploaded, I will have 11,000 miles on it. So stay tuned to the end of the video, because if I had any changes between that 685 and 000 before it gets to 11,000 miles, I'll update it at the end of this video. All right, we'll start out with the first negative. This happened like right at the time of me getting the car. This is my first warranty claim, and I just been so busy that I can't even get into my own service department. The part is in, but the carbon fiber right here is kind of like peeling apart. Not that big of a deal, but that was my only warranty claim in 11,000 miles. And also, I did have that exact same issue on the C7 on the carbon fiber dash part up there. Before we get on the next one, though, I want to give a big shout out to today's video sponsor, and that's Magic Spoon Cereal. They've been on the channel before, and I absolutely love their cereal. Guys, there's a link in the description below. Check it out if you want the best start to your day. High protein, low net carbs, keto friendly, grain free. Guys, by far the best cereal to start your day off and the healthiest way to do it. Use the link in the description below, use the code word Chevy, and you'll get it shipped for you for free. Thanks Magic Spoon for sponsoring this video. So next, let's talk about storage. General Motors made a huge claim that you can fit 2 of these guys in your car. Now, I'm not a golfer, right? So I don't have golf clubs. I used to golf.
I was gonna say, it took us forever to get rid of your golf clubs.
Yeah, it did, but you know, I think I spent more money on golf balls than I did this car, so just kind of gave it up, right? And I had a big bag, right? I had a really big cart bag. This is a carry bag from my neighbor right over there. And so I think it's a good representation of a lot of bags out there. I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean, that can we really fit 2 sets of golf clubs in the vehicle? All right, so let's show you these golf bags I just put in here. So this is a fairly nice small carry bag that I was really skeptical with General Motors saying that you could put 2 golf bags in the mid-engine Corvette. So one of the things that I saw from multiple people who went out to California to the reveal is they had these little itty bitty bags, and I'm like, did they like make up their own bags to put in the mid-engine to say, hey, we can fit 2 golf bags in there? So I'm pleasantly surprised that I think you can put 2 golf bags in this car. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I used to have a large cart bag, so I don't think 2 cart bags are going to fit in here, but if you have 2 carry bags, this is going to fit absolutely perfect. 2 cart bags, probably not. 1 cart bag, not an issue. So you saw how well the golf bag works, so now let's talk about the suitcase.
Vanna.
You're talking. No, you're talking. You're not
I'm
Vanna.
talking.
You're not Vanna. You're
I
talking.
thought I was here just for the beauty.
No, definitely not for the beauty. You're
Well,
being productive here.
okay,
Okay.
I'm out of here.
So, what about the suitcase?
Suitcase barely fits in there.
Barely fits in. This is a 21-inch carry-on bag, and unfortunately, I have nitrous in here, and I have a 10-pound nitrous bottle in here, so this bag definitely is not going to fit any way, shape, or form up there. But when I had this bag, what, 4 weeks ago, when I didn't have the nitrous installed yet on the car, this bag was very, very difficult to put in the front trunk. Now let's talk about the back trunk. So here is the bag in. Come up here and show how we have this in here. Again, 21-inch carry-on bag. This is what I take with me everywhere. You can see this is well above the striker plate that comes down right here. If I move this over, it's up there. Move this over, it's kind of up there. So here is what I've experienced. If I try to bring this all the way over here, you can see that it is above the seal right there. So if I try to shut this, it's not gonna work. Look how much space I have right there, okay? Again, 21-inch bag. So let's play with this. I now know with this bag, I gotta turn it this way for whatever reason, and you can see where I'm setting that. Can't close this yet. Did we do it this way? Did we do it that way? How do we do this?
You have to push
There we go. There we go. So now it's perfectly 100% closed. So it's really goofy that it's that way. But if I push this bag this way, is that how we did that?
Mm-mm.
Yep. And it's not doing it. So you can see how that's not really level right there. So we had a couple instances where this was sticking really, really far up. And again, there's no close in here or anything like that. So maybe it's not going to collapse as much, but when we do that, you know, it closes just fine. But it's really difficult to put a bag in here, and really we need to have it more here. So when you look at this, you'll see that I got a lot of wasted space here. I got a lot of wasted space here. So if I want to put another bag in there, I can't really do it. So not that big of a deal, definitely first world problems. But if you want to take your C8 on a road trip, make sure you have a 21-inch bag or less. And when you come to the museum to do your museum delivery, don't bring a full-size suitcase. Like my customers did in Mesa, Arizona. They went and bought a bag out of the museum and they had to ship their suitcase back to them in Mesa, Arizona. So don't bring a full-size suitcase if you are doing museum delivery. So there it is with the bag, okay? So, oh, good catch. So let's move on to the next thing. So the trunk heat is a huge thing, and with that being said, if you do any type of aftermarket upgrades, exhaust, that's going to be a huge, huge thing. You guys know I put Soul Performance exhaust on my car. I've got the full exhaust coming right now. I've only got the Sport Cats on there, but I see a huge heat difference in the hot of summer. Again, I was in Nevada. It was 110 degrees, right at 100 degrees, dry heat. And that was the one things that I looked at when I was out there racing the car all day for 2 days straight of how much heat was back there. That thing heats up really, really heavily. We're not gonna go get ice cream and then go to the racetrack, by no means. But
going to the grocery store.
Going to the grocery store, heating up electronics in your backpack. I don't put my backpack back there. I would have liked to put my nitrous bottle up top, but I use that for my backpack every single day. So that was really important that I put my nitrous at the bottom, even though it looked cooler at top, because I would lose the functionality of the front trunk. So just
you can take that bottle out.
It's not very easy. So just keep that in mind, that back trunk does get extremely hot. I would say it's probably somewhere in the 80 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on the day, the weather, stuff like that, how hard you're driving the car, etc.
I say don't ever take it to the grocery. It's not worth it.
There you go. This is Chevy Dude's on point.
And I take the C7 to the grocery.
No, you don't, because we're not allowed to do that with our insurance. We don't do that, okay? We don't do that. All right, so the next thing that I don't like about the Corvette would be the active fuel management. The active fuel management, and I know everybody's going to agree on me. If we're putting it on trucks, we're putting it on cars, we're putting, you know, the sports cars need to stay away from active fuel management, dynamic fuel management if they change it down the road. This is a sports car. I am not interested in any way, shape, or form of good gas mileage. I understand there's CAFE laws and stuff out there, but...
What, you don't want to only run on 4 cylinders?
No, ever, never, ever. And it's bad for the lifters. You'll drop a lifter. I see it all the time. That would be the only thing that I see negative with the engine is get rid of the active fuel management.
Hey,
but
be glad it doesn't have auto start and stop.
thank God it doesn't have auto start stop triggered. So the really good thing about the engine though, thank goodness it doesn't have auto start stop, but is a lot of mid-engine cars, you hear a lot of engine noise behind it. Let's talk about the Huracan, right? We had a Huracan and you did not like being in that car because of
Engine noise inside. The ride was rough.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no interest whatsoever in driving the car.
And we're going to talk about ride on this here in a second. But yeah, the engine noise on a Huracan and other mid-engine cars is absolutely horrific. And that was my big concern when they announced this car that they were actually going to do it, is what the engine noise was going to be. That really thick glass, I think is, did they say it's 6 millimeters, 9 millimeters thick now? I'm out of all my training, I forget. But it's really, really, really extremely thick. And the quiet tuning that they put into this car is absolutely amazing. So they did a really good job on that. All right, so let's talk about the absolute must-have options that you need to get on your, we're gonna talk about 2021 Corvette because you can't build a 2020 anymore. I personally think the $7,000 upgrade to go from 1LT to 2LT is an absolute must. Everything that you get in the 2LT versus the 1LT is a huge upgrade, and you're gonna love it. You're gonna love the heated seats, you're gonna love the ventilated seats, you're gonna love the better sound system, the heads-up display, the navigation. If you do front lift, we're gonna talk about that here in a second, having those favorites saved in there for the front lift system. All of those stuff is completely 100% worth it when you go to the 2LT. Speaking of the 2LT, we're gonna stick with another 2 factor, and that's the Gt2 seats. Gt2 seats, absolute must. I got a little bit of time behind the GT1 seat. The GT2 seat, obviously I've got 11,000 plus miles behind that. And then I also have about 300 to 500 miles behind the GT3, or behind setting in the GT3 seat. So GT3 seat, only use that seat if you're racing this car on a regular basis. I'm 6'3", 230 pounds, and that seat is tight and it digs into my thighs extremely tough. So that's gonna be a hit or miss option. Absolute must-haves, Z51 if you're going to track the car. If you track this car and you do not get Z51, I'm told that it avoids your warranty. I had a product trainer tell me that from General Motors, but not an actual General Motors employee. So I think that's going to come into play is if you have a catastrophic failure, an engine failure. They throw the computer on the ECU and they see that it's been over revved or been tracked and it's got some heavy G's, then maybe they see that, know that somehow, and they're like, yeah, you did something you're not supposed to with this car, and they're going to avoid your warranty. So
just get Z51.
I think so, yeah. So
and put it on the car. That way, if you decide to do the track, you're fine.
I tell people if you have a 1% chance of doing the track, to do Z51. So you kind of know before you're buying the car if you're going to track it or not track it. Absolutely important to get magnetic ride control in this car. It's extremely smooth. I like hearing the robust sound that I have in this car. Obviously, you guys know I got the Soul Performance Sport Cats on it. I love the sound on this car, but I love the ride quality on this car too. I drive 26 miles back and forth from work. A lot of those miles are on an elevated roadway, so I'm going over expansion joints nonstop. Those expansion joints do not exist in this car. In my C7, I feel them all day long. So magnetic ride control, with or without Z51 now for 2021, definitely get it. It's worth the money. All right, so let's talk about what's not necessarily a deal breaker in a car, not going to affect future resale value in a car. That's a question I get asked a lot as well. And let's talk about the very first thing that's huge news for the 2020 model year, and that would be the
front lift.
Front lift. So front lift was a huge topic of discussion for the mid-engine car, and where it is a very, very good, nice option to have, I wouldn't say that it's a make or break option. I use it on a few places, but not a whole lot. And again, in 11,000 miles, not something that very many people can go out there and talk about unless they work for General Motors. So with that being said, I have a pretty fairly normal driveway that has the cement lip up. You'll see that here on your camera. I can get in it with or without the front lift up or down. When I come home, it automatically lifts up. There's no reason for me not to lift it up. I have it on my car as a feature, so it's super, super nice to have. Now, for the people who want to lower their car, you can't do front lift. So if you want to lower your car, get rid of that option. Any other? Do you think there's something on here that we necessarily didn't need to have?
Maybe the wrap.
Oh, Yeah, triggered. You guys are gonna be
I
triggered.
love the wrap.
I love the wrap too. So when we did the wrap, we did a live stream the other night that's not available anymore, and people are asked, how am I affected by people making negative comments on the wrap? Well, I knew that going into it, that people were going to love it, people were going to hate it, and my goal was to have people wreck on the road. Nobody's wrecked on the road except for this guy right here. He was looking hard at my wrap and just almost wrecked into a vehicle. So luckily nobody's wrecked on it, being a little facetious when I said I wanted people to wreck, but I knew people were going to love it or hate it. Again, it's all marketing, so regardless of what you think about it, I love it, she loves it. It's out of my comfort zone, but it's absolutely amazing. Much better than a white car. So closing out the vlog, I want to talk about the difference between a C7 and a C8. And that is a huge topic of discussion when I talk to people on the phone or in public or whatnot. And it's very fortunate that I do own a C7 and C8.
You do?
I mean, you own a C7.
The difference.
And
he owns a C8, I own a C7.
So with that being said, the biggest difference between a C7 and C8, I would say, are two things. The ride quality. A huge difference between C7 and C8. This thing rides so much better. Absolutely mind-boggling. The second thing is the cabin, inside the cabin, the room, the space, right? The difference between me sitting in a C7 and a C8 at 6'3" is absolutely amazing. The passenger seat,
being a shorty, doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter to you. The passenger seat for me on a C7, I'm just in there crunched and whatnot, and absolutely amazing on the passenger side that there's no issues of me sitting over there. You came and picked me up the other night from work, and it's just 163 phone calls in one day.
Oh, he actually let me drive the car.
I did let her drive. And I sat in there and just relaxed and settled down on my way home and just got a couple more phone calls done and whatnot. But being on the passenger side is really nice. And while we went to Oklahoma, I think I was working on the computer a lot over there and was able to have my 15-inch MacBook Pro in my lap with no problem, where that's really tight on the C7. So those are the two big things on the C7, C8.
One.
What's that?
How the car sticks to the road.
So yes, so she said it dead on. How this car sticks to the road. So my dummy butt got on TikTok and I put 130,000 followers on TikTok in a month. And one of the things that I did is like, hey, if you're in Louisville, Kentucky, swing by Bachman Chevrolet and I'll give you a ride. So I've been given tons and tons and tons of rides to 16 and 17-year-old kids in the C8. So on my little track that I give them on, I've learned more and more from off-track experience how well this car handles on the road. On the track surfaces, when I've been on track on the circuit course and autocross, absolutely amazing how well this thing sticks compared to the C7. One of the things that I did last night with a customer, and he's like, hey, if I buy a car, will you give me a ride in the C8, right? Everybody's throwing that in when they're not buying Corvettes from me, so which I love. Absolutely amazing. I said, yeah, let's go. It was 8:30 at night. Nobody was in our industrial park. I was ripping around it, and I purposely tried to fishtail the car, and this thing just squatted. The brake by wire on this car is absolutely amazing. So make sure you want to learn more about this car, you've got to do the Ron Fellows School of Driving at Spring Mountains. $1,000, it's absolutely worth it 100%. So the last thing that I think General Motors needs to put in this car would be cameras, front and rear recording cameras. So we already got the back camera for the digital rear view mirror. We got the front PDR camera. We need those cameras to record both front and rear. I think for safety reasons, if somebody rear ends us, that would be really super nice to have a dash cam for the front and for the rear. There's no power outlet that I can get to the back real easy on this car, so it would be nice if that back camera or an additional camera that just gets put into the engine bay and can see out the window and record everything to that PDR SD card. So that would be my only recommendation over that. And I gotta say this, we have talked about this video non-stop. We're like, what? We've talked about, I want to say negative things about this car. I want to give a non-biased opinion. And I'm like, I'm having problems. I should say I'm having problems coming up with negative stuff. With that being said, I didn't want people to come on here as like, oh, you're just a Chevy fanboy. You're not going to take anything. You're not going to say anything negative to it because of working for Chevrolet, working for a dealership. You want to sell more. And I truly, truly tried to nitpick on some of this stuff. So this car is definitely a 9 out of 10 score. All right, guys, I know this was a long video, but I really wanted to give a good, in-depth, non-biased opinion on the 2020 C8. It's a fantastic car. It's a 9 out of 10. You have anything to add?
Nope.
Let you drive it?
Maybe. Or just buy me a new Tesla.
So guys, I want to thank you again for watching the video. Thank you Magic Spoon for sponsoring this video. Make sure you check them out in the link in the description below. ShopChevyDudeStore.com. Get your Chevy Dude merch. As always, thanks again for watching. Have a great day and drive safely.